What is cracking, everybody? It's MegapiemanPHD, and welcome to Prime World Defenders, a tower defense game from Naval Entertainment set in their fantasy magical world of Prime World from their up-and-coming game, Prime World. What is Prime World? Well, Prime World is a world full of magic and mystery that is run by this stuff called Prime. You see these big glowy things here, all this blue glowy stuff, that is Prime. And currently in this game, what we use Prime for is we can use it as a resource in order to build our specific different towers. Now, mostly Prime World is very similar to the countless number of tower defense games that already exist. But there are a few things that it does to try to set itself apart. One of those things is this little meter up here at the top. Quickly, I need to build a tower here. This little meter up here at the top will tell you what kind of enemies will come in and when they will show up. As you can see, the wave that we are currently on, it is wave 8 out of 25. The wave we're currently on are just going to be basic ground units represented by this little triangle. The next wave that is coming up, this triangle with a wing, those are going to be flying units. The reason why that they tell you that is because your towers, some of them can only hit specific kinds of units. All the towers I have right now, I have the wooden towers that you can read right about here. And I have a poison tower that will actually poison enemies as it hits them. And these can only hit specific things. I believe all the wood towers and the poison tower can hit both air and ground. I don't exactly remember if the poison tower can hit both air and ground. I know it can hit at least ground units. But there are some towers that can only hit air units, and there are some towers that can only hit ground units, such as this particular tower right here. The Puncher, this one can only hit ground units, but it does have a little bit of catch thrown in there because it can do critical hit chance with 25% chance of doing double damage when it hits a target. So you definitely want to have one of those if you can afford enough Prime to put one down, but you do have to be careful because if you have a bunch of Punchers, then you can't actually attack any of the air units. Now, as you see up here, my wooden tower, since there's no enemies around, it's attacking this totem thing. Totems are different things that affect the different monsters, and sometimes they're just there to block up a space. They sit on space that you can place a tower, but you can't place a tower there until it's destroyed, and this particular one will actually accelerate any of the enemies that go into this yellow area. There are more than just the accelerating totems. If you go down here, you can see this one down with the pill on top and this green aura around it. That one will heal the monsters, or as they're known as the touched, as they're monsters who have been touched by the Prime, and that makes them a little bit stronger. It will heal them as they go past. They're pretty easy to destroy. All you have to do is set a tower next to them. Actually, upgrade this tower, so let's do that. You just set a tower next to it, and if there's no monsters around, they will start attacking it until it destroys it. I definitely want to make sure that you get rid of those as they can make or break some of the different runs that you're having. Now, these harpies down here are getting through a little bit, so let's call in some magic. We'll call in a bomb that will take those guys out. While bombs don't cost Prime, unlike towers, they do have a cooldown meter on them. And although I have two magic spells with me, using one of them causes the other one to also have a cooldown meter. It's not the full cooldown meter for that particular spell, but it does have a cooldown meter nonetheless. This particular spell, I believe, has a 70 cooldown meter. You have to wait 70 seconds before you can use it again. This one, you have to wait 40 seconds before you can use it again. And I've unlocked the ability to carry two magic spells with me, and more than just a few towers. I believe I unlocked these two spaces so I can carry, let's see, 6 towers with me instead of just the original 4. So if you're just starting the game, you only have one spell with you or a few towers with you, and you can upgrade those things as you go. Things can be working out pretty well. I do want to make sure that I get rid of that sometime soon, but I have 73 Prime right now, which means I can upgrade my wooden tower again. Something that I do want to make a little bit of a note here is when you read the description, you can see that the description is displayed in card format. And you can also see what the different upgrades of the towers, how they particularly change. We'll get into that a little bit later once we beat this level, but keep in mind that they're displayed in the card format, because that adds to something else that's a little bit interesting about Prime World Defenders. Going back to this particular meter here, you can see that this button highlights sometimes. If you click that button before that wave actually shows up, then you'll get a little bit extra Prime out of it. I believe the most Prime you can get from it is maybe 12. Let's call in a Toxic Cloud here, do a little bit of poison damage. But if you call that in before the monsters start showing up, then you get a little bit of a bonus. You actually get the chance to get more prime from it, and you can use that to upgrade your towers. Now, you do need to be careful because you do run a big risk of calling in too many monsters and completely overwhelming yourself. So there's risk and reward that goes in place there. It's a nice thing that you can use to get some extra prime really quickly, but as I said before, you really need to be careful not to over-swarm yourself, because it is very easy to get swarmed, and then the next thing you know, you end up losing the particular mission. There are 3 different types of missions that you can get. This particular mission is just basically stop the monsters from getting to the end. They spawn from these 3 areas up here, and I need to stop them from getting through the gate down here. There are more than just this particular kind of mission. The other mission, I believe, it's sort of like this, although it's in a smaller area, and then there's another kind of mission which the monsters need to go grab some prime and then get back to where they spawned at. So you get a way to do double damage, but in those particular things, there are specific places where you can actually place towers on the lines that the monsters walk and make them go in specific lines. It's not anywhere near as open as a tower defense game like Field Runners, in which you can make your own maze, but you can affect the direction that the monsters go in those particular kinds of missions. So let's get going here and try to finish this mission. You can drag this screen around to look where everything's at. I kind of wish I could just zoom out in order to see where everything was at, but sadly that is not an option in Prime World Defenders. Something that this game also tries to do to make itself stand out a little bit is the more of the one specific kind of tower that you place. I've got a few harpies that are going to get through here. I really should have brought along a aerial tower. I did not. There are specific slingshot towers or air defense towers that do the most damage to air units, but they can't attack ground units. Sadly, I didn't bring any of them with me. I didn't think about it before I started this mission. Actually, you know, let's drop a bomb on that when I unpause. But let's unpause that and keep moving. Few of these are going to get through here. There are these accelerator towers that are down there at the bottom, which are a little bit obnoxious. Let's pause here for a sec, because now I remember what I was going to talk about. As you see here, I've placed quite a few wooden turrets, or towers, and you can see that down here, the blue number, the original white number, but it's next to this blue teardrop, this red number, it is actually increased. Now, these towers, originally, they were just 30 prime in order to place. Now, it goes up to 54. The more of the towers you place, the more of the exact same tower you place, the more those towers cost. That is a way that they kind of make it a little bit balanced, so you want to use more than just one kind of tower. If I get enough prime here, I'll probably need to put a puncher up somewhere around the area, but I'm getting a lot of flying units, and sadly I did not bring any air defense with me because I didn't check to see what kind of units were in this mission before I started. So this will be a little bit interesting, but we've only got 5 or so more rounds to go through. Hopefully I'll be able to make it. I really need to get a tower down here. Can I build a tower close enough? No, I can't build a tower close enough within range to get rid of those accelerators. That's a little bit obnoxious. But I've gotten rid of all of the other totems in this particular area, except for that one. That one is still there. Since there's so many air things, let's actually drop a slow turret right here in order to try to slow these guys down as they go past these 2 wooden towers. Let's upgrade that slow turret and drop another bomb. Beautiful, beautiful bomb. There we go. As you can see here, there's a guy who pops in and tells you a little bit about what's going on. That takes place of the story of this game. They do try to throw a story into Prime World Defenders, and I have to appreciate that because not a lot of tower defense games really try to go for story. It's basically, oh, here's a mission, build your towers, best of luck. But they actually try to throw a story into this game. The story's not that fantastic, and some of the voice acting is not that great. There's like one female voice actress that they got to use, and she's not that fantastic. Some of the male voice actors aren't that great either, but, you know, it makes for something a little bit different. And while the story isn't super in-depth, I'm not going to talk about it too much because I don't want to spoil it too much for anybody who may be interested in this game. It's nice to see that it's actually there, and they're actually trying for it. So can I upgrade this? Yes, let's upgrade my poison tower and get back in action. Actually go some ×2 speed as we go through here. Hopefully I'll be able to slow them down enough with my slow turret. I may be able to get some poison up pretty soon. Drop some poison on these guys since they're the ones who are the closest. Actually, let's put this power thing here. This will actually increase the damage of towers in a specific area to upgrade my towers that are right there. They have to be really close, so I don't know if it actually affect these two towers, but it'll at least affect the poison one, which doesn't look like it actually can attack the air, so that was a little bit of a waste. Let's put it down here next to this guy. There we go. Give him a little bit of more attack. Kill the harpies! Don't let him through. Don't let him through. Don't let him through. There's only one left. Oh, there's a couple more left. Oh, they're going to hit that accelerator. There we go. All right. A few of them got through, but not bad. At the end of this, we got a little bit of a cutscene going forward in this story. But it's not super in-depth, as the story, as I was saying, isn't super in-depth. At the end of all of the main missions, you will get a count-up of all of the stuff that you get and how well you did. I got 2 out of 3 stars, because some of them got through. If none of them would have got through, then I would have got 3 stars. The stars are actually very important, not just for leaderboards, but we'll see about that later. There's also different challenges that each mission has. This one's particularly complete this without using a wooden tower. I had got this previously because I used a lot of wood towers here. But there's also this one by destroying 7 totems. You can also see the current score that you got. I got a 95, a new record for my count. You can restart or continue. Let's continue here and go back to the map because we got more things that we specifically need to talk about that help make Prime World's defenders, I almost said tower defense defenders, I don't know why, a little bit different. Now we have this map here. These are all the different specific missions that you can go against. You can see I've got 3 stars on a couple of these. I got 1 star on that one. Stars are pretty important because they actually collect and you can use them at the store to buy different cards, and cards are your towers. If we go down here to my collection, you can see all of the different cards that I have. These are all of the towers that I currently have in use. You can see they are different levels. This is a level 2 slingshot, and by the different color means how much you can upgrade them. This current tower, like this siege tower right here, is green, so it doesn't upgrade. That's the max level, but this red poison tower means I can upgrade it twice. Now, how do you make it so you can upgrade your towers? Well, that is where some interesting things are thrown in the mix. If you go to the forge, you see you have fuse and evolution. Evolution is how you upgrade your towers and make it so that you can upgrade them actually in the mission. If I go to choose, if I choose a tower that I haven't upgraded yet, such as this siege tower, and click OK, and then I choose another siege tower and then click OK, it'll cost 250 coins, or 250 silver, as you can see it is right up here, for me to fuse these two together. Fuse them together, and we get the ability to now level this up to level 2, and it will now do plus 126 damage on its 2nd level. So that is how you're able to make it so your towers can level up. You actually have to evolve each individual tower that you use in order to be able to upgrade them. You can't upgrade them in the mission at all until you evolve them. So it makes a little bit card game aspects thrown into the mix because you want to get more than one specific kind of card so you can evolve them. Now, not only do you have evolution, but you also have fusing. Fusing is a way that you can upgrade your specific towers. Like if we go to my siege tower that I just upgraded, you can see it is now yellow, and click OK. And then go to choose, you can then use different cards to fuse them. Now, you can fuse your basic towers together if you have extra tower cards that you don't specifically want to use. Like, I could pick the Prime Injector here, and you'll see the forecast that it will level up my tower by a little bit. It'll go up to level 2, and its efficiency will increase by 10%. I'm not going to do that because I don't want to get rid of my only Prime Ejector. But there are specific towers that you can get, not specific towers, specific cards that you can get that are only used for fusion. If you go to your card collection, there are artifacts. As you see, I don't have any artifacts, but if I had an artifact card, those are specifically designed for only with fusion. You can use it to upgrade the strength of a different card, and some of these specific artifacts only work with specific kind of towers, such as an ice artifact only works with a slow tower. You can also see the different magic that I have. These are the only 2 magic spells that I currently have, and these have been fused up to level 6 and up to level 3, and the fact that you can also unlock more spaces to take more towers or more spells with you. The way you do that is with talents. By leveling yourself up, as you see, I'm at level 11. If I go to level 12, I would then unlock this ability of talents. If you have enough silver, then you can buy these different kinds of talents that do different things. You see, this talent allowed me to buy another slot for my towers. This talent increases the gain of experience that I get by 10%. This increases the amount of silver that I get by 10%, and so on and so forth. This one will give me a 15% bonus on any card in tower sales, because you can sell your specific cards in your collection by clicking on the eye. You can go, I don't think you can sell that one because that one I actually got at the beginning of the game. That's one of the cards I started with. But you can sell, like if I wanted to sell a Toxic Clouds and level up to level 6 out of 15, I can sell it for 312 silver. I'm not going to do that because I really like to use the poison, but that is something that you can do. And as you see up here, I have 19 out of 25 cards. I can hold up to 25 cards. If I have 25 cards, then I can't take any more and I have to sell specific ones, but you can get a talent that increases my maximum limit of cards in my collection by 10. So then I can hold 35 cards. That's not the only thing that Prime World Defenders does to try to set itself apart by adding these card collection and things. It also throws in some random generated effects. As you can see here, this is a boss battle. Each one of these individually, once you get past the tutorial areas, they are specific different missions that you can go up against. This particular one's a boss battle. I believe this one back here was also maybe a boss battle. Not that one, but one of these was also a boss battle. But one of the things that you need to do for these specific missions is that each one's going to be more and more difficult, and sometimes you need to grind for either money, stars, or cards in order to upgrade your deck. How you do that is you can either replay the missions that you did before, or you can use the randomly generated missions that the game throws at you. These are just, they're randomly generated. Random map, random monsters, random combination of monsters, all sorts of nice little randomness to make it so that you don't have to replay the exact same missions over and over again. And after each mission that you beat, another one unlocks that's going to be completely randomly generated. So let's do a mission here real quick. I'm going to do one on hard difficulty. I need to, as you can see here, you can see which things are going to be showing up. You're going to have kobolds, scarecrows, wagons, satyrs, and shadow walkers. Shadow walkers means that these are going to be invisible. So I need to make sure that I take my detector, where is it? My detector tower with me. We'll replace the mortar tower. And because scarecrows are going to be there, those are enemies that show up in groups. I need a tower that works well in groups, and my snake tower does pretty good poison group damage. So that seems to be pretty good tower-wise. Let's go and quickly do this mission. Now, unlike the main missions, you don't get star ratings for these particular missions, for these randomly generated missions. So you can't grind stars. They're the only thing you can't grind for. You can grind for gold, you can grind for cards, but you can't grind for stars. Let's put down some of these. I have 30, so I can upgrade this tower by 1. These specific things right here, these are the towers, these are the totems, my bad. These are the totems that if you destroy, you get extra prime. As you can see, you also have these floating things in the specific field. Now, what these do is these are field upgrades for your towers. This stone fist will actually make them do more damage. This sort of weird, I don't know what you would call that, it's like amulet or something. I believe that increases attack range, so your tower, if you place on there, it will attack more range and will be able to hit things from farther away. As you can see, this is another very basic idea for a tower design. You just need to stop that from getting to the end here, but it's much shorter than the one that we played previously. So let's get going here. They will attack the random totems. You can also use magic spells to harm the totems. That I don't really see a real big reason to do that, considering they don't do a huge amount of damage. But let's call in a couple waves to try to get some more towers built. But as you can see, once you destroy one of these totems, you can then place a tower on it. As I said before, they actually block areas, and on some of the hard difficulties, there will just be basic rocks that can't be destroyed that will block the specific placements that you can place your towers, and how they increase the difficulty because you have to specifically know what towers you want to place where and how to upgrade them to make sure you have the towers with you. Now, there's not going to be any flying enemies in this particular mission, but there are going to be some shadow ones. You see there's that eyeball. So I need to quickly get up enough prime to build myself a detector tower. I'll put it right here in the middle. so it'll get that upgrade and be able to see farther. So it'll be able to detect the invisible enemies so that other towers can attack them. It will also attack other enemies in general, but it doesn't do a huge amount of damage. Its only real good use is against the particular invisible enemies. Let's call in another one quickly. There's a wagon there, which could cause some problems because the wagons, they actually spawn 3 other enemies when they are destroyed. So they're not really powerful enemies, but there are 3 other enemies that you do need to worry about. That means that a group's going to come in if you have those 3 right there. I need to quickly get myself some points. Let's pause that, and I'll build myself another wooden tower right here to stop these guys from getting through. I'm starting to get a little bit overwhelmed. I need to get up enough money so I can put something on that strength part right there in order to get that strength bonus. But I'm starting to get a little bit overwhelmed. I need to be careful. I need to make sure that I don't call in too many enemies at once. While calling in a lot of enemies is great because it lets you get more prime. It's super easy to overwhelm yourself if you're not paying attention. Especially with all of these wagons that spawn not only themselves, but they also spawn 3 enemies on their own when you destroy them. Let's see, I'm going to actually sell you, and I'm going to put the puncher on there, since the puncher already does a lot of extra damage. So now it can do even more extra damage. As you can see here, my detector turret, I have not evolved it at all, so I can't actually level it up. But I have evolved my venom turret, and I have evolved my wooden turret twice. You can only evolve them twice, but I've done that twice, so that's why I can upgrade it twice. Let's continue as we're going through here and work on destroying a few more things. Let's upgrade this tower out here. Hopefully they won't get out here, but just in case they do, I want to make sure that it's able to take them out. We call in a few more enemies. Let's drop a poison there, and we'll call in another puncher just to get some background. There's not any flying enemies in this particular mission, so I don't have to worry about not having a slingshot turret with me, unlike the last mission. As also, if you're interested in what all the different enemies you're going to come across anytime, you can pause it, press the question mark, and it will tell you all of the different enemies that will be in the specific waves. So that's a way that you can help figure out at the beginning what towers need to build at the start and what exactly you need to place them at. Such as if flying enemies are coming up really soon, then or in the first wave, you need to make sure that you have some slingshot turrets or air defense turrets built, or just some wooden turrets in general that can also attack flying enemies. But the Venom Tower and the Puncher, those can only attack ground units. So that you definitely need to remember what towers can attack what. I believe this guy can only attack ground units as well. Maybe he can attack flying units, I don't exactly remember. Let's upgrade the Puncher here a little bit. I have 60, so I can upgrade my wooden tower again. I'm going to drop another bomb on these guys. Where are they specifically at? Oh, no, my towers did a good job taking care of them. Nice. We'll wait till some more spawn and we'll drop another bomb on those guys. It's kind of interesting how they actually make it so that you have to wait for both spells to cool down. About 5 seconds between being able to call in spells. So you can't just spam spells back to back to back to back to back. Now each tower is of course specifically designed for a specific type of enemy. The Venom Tower is designed to take out groups individually. It is the best against groups. There is also a Fire Tower that is good against groups. The Wooden Tower is good against single enemies, not so great against groups because it can only attack one specific enemy at a time. And the same with the Puncher. The Puncher can only attack one specific enemy at a time. The Venom Tower and the Fire Tower are the only kind of towers I've had so far that can attack more than one enemy at a time. It attacks the specific groups, even if they're small or big groups, it doesn't really matter as long as they're within its venom range. It will be able to do enough damage, unlike the basic Poison Tower, which can only attack one enemy at a time. Let's upgrade my Venom Tower there. Doing a pretty good job here, actually, keeping everybody at bay, making sure that everything is upgraded. That's something that I specifically aim for. I aim for more upgrading my towers than building more towers. I don't know if that's necessarily a really great strategy, but so far it's worked pretty well, except for the current mission that I'm on, which as of yet I've been unable to beat. I've only finally reached a wall with this game. I've been playing this game for maybe 5 hours, and I've only just now hit a wall where I have to especially do some grinding. Now that I beat this, I get some gold and silver. I get some silver, not gold. I get some silver and currency, and I get some EXP off the bat. And then we get a chance of getting one of these cards. As you see here, we can shuffle them, and then we get one free pick to try to grab one. Let's see what we're going to get here. We got an ice emblem. This is used only for fusing. It is an artifact card. I will take that. You can either sell it or grab it. I will collect that. And then for another 175, I can pick another card. And then for 300 some silver, you can grab another card. You can only get up to 3 cards, but the first one you get free, and the other 2 you have to pay for. Like if I wanted to get this one, I have to specifically pay for it. I got Magic Light. I don't think that's worth it because I don't really use that much, so I'll just sell that right off the bat. And I'm not going to pay $350 because I don't even have that much for another card. So let's continue. Loading time hasn't been too bad for this game. As you see, because I beat that one ship mission, there is now a new mission. This mission is completely different than the one that we just went in. As you can see, there are many flying enemies. It's a different map. It's a whole different setup, even though it is the same particular kind of mission. There's also these missions down here. While this is an easy difficulty, it is a Prime Zone raid, whereas the one that we just played was a artifact search. Now, since I did get that fuse, as you can see over here, go to artifacts. Yes, I got that artifact. This does time 6 upgrade, and it's time 6 more effective than any regular card. So let's go to fuse here quickly. I will pick a card that will work with, which is my slowing tower, and then I can pick my ice emblem. Now, what it means by it's 6 times more effective is using this, fusing with this ice emblem is 6 times more effective than fusing with any of your basic cards. As you saw before, like if I only picked the slowing tower, I get 10% increase, but if I pick the ice emblem, I get a 20% efficiency increase. And I actually will add this other slowing tower into the mix just because I can't upgrade my particular slowing tower, and it doesn't actually seem to have an effect, so let's just get rid of that. And then for 65 gold, I can fuse them together to completely upgrade my slowing tower. It is level 5, that is the highest level it will get, and it does the max amount of damage and slowing that it will do overall. Depending on how you fuse your cards, depends on how they work. You can fuse them with any card, but using a big card such as a artifact will definitely help them upgrade a little bit faster, plus it will help them do a bit more damage. But that is it for Prime World Defenders. It's a tower defense game mixed with some card collecting thrown in there just for fun. It's a interesting game to say the least. If you're into card collecting or tower defense, it's definitely a game that I can see you being interested in. I'm not super into either, so it's not really my kind of game, but I have been enjoying myself. I can say I've definitely been enjoying myself over the time, the short period of time that I've been playing with the game. It's actually a pretty long game, because as I said before, I've been playing about 5 hours in it. I'm only at the second boss, and from what I've seen, if we go back here and check out the encyclopedia, you can see all of the different monsters that you've currently unlocked, and all of these question marks are monsters and things I haven't seen yet. And these are, that was the first boss, this is the second boss, this is the current boss that I'm stuck on. So I'm going to guess the rest of these are also bosses, so that's quite a few bosses to go against. I'm only on the 3rd boss, having played for 5 hours, so it's definitely got some decent length to it. But that is going to be it for Prime World Defenders. I hope you guys enjoyed. I've been MegapiemanPHD for Pixabyte, and for more indie games, news, reviews, and all information indie games, please check out Pixabyte at pixabyte.tv. Till next time, I'll talk to you guys later.